Let's talk about the shape or line tools. If you go over here, it should be a rectangle. You can click and hold and you'll see all of the options that are under that shape tool. So let's start with the line segment tool. So just go down to it and let go. And now you're on the line segment tool. If you just click once and let go, you'll notice a menu pops up where you can specify exact length or angle, whether you want to fill it. Let's see, we have points right now, so we just hit OK, and it drew our line for us. We're going to go ahead and delete that one. Another way to use the line tool is to just drag. And now we have a line. If you hold down Shift while you're dragging, then it will keep it at an angle 45, 90, 180, and 360. This can be helpful when drawing patterns. It's making this very hard to see, so let's drag it all and change the color to black and a thicker point. All right, so now you'll see if you start another line, it will keep the last style that you specified. A quick tip is if you wanted to join two paths together, for instance this one, let's go to our direct selection tool, which is A, select this and drag it over to this anchor point. Now it looks like they're connected, but they're not. As you can see, if I move one, it just moves the one. But if you select both points and you go up to Object, Path, Join, which is also the shortcut here, then you've created a joined shape. So it has joined those two lines together. If you wanted to not have it filled, you just go over here, click None, but you can see it's one shape now. You can still affect the anchor point by using the direct selection tool, but it's just one anchor as opposed to two. Next thing we can do is go under the shapes and use the rectangle tool. Just click and drag that out on the artboard, you'll see you get a rectangle. If you hold down Shift and drag, you will see you get a perfect square. You can change the color or fill of these shapes using the various ways that we went over. For instance, if you select the rectangle and you go over to the color palette, you can see that fill is selected and that it's empty. So let's give it a color, and it already has a stroke, but let's change the stroke to yellow. Also want to make the stroke a little bit bigger. We can adjust the style of the stroke. There we go, fun little rectangle. This can be super helpful when creating logos or brochures or banners or basically anything. Shapes make up everything. So if we move that over and we want to try the Ellipse tool, it does just what it sounds like, which is to draw circles and ovals and so on. If you hold down the Shift, you will get a perfect circle. And it is keeping that last style we did, which is the green with the yellow. If we wanted to change that, you guys are super familiar with this now. Just go over here and we're going to pick some swatches. Let's go ahead and stylize that stroke to something a little more fun and a little bit thicker so we can see it. Another little tip about creating the inside or a fill of a shape is this little style menu. If you click on that, it will give you some presets. Let's go ahead and just use one of those to illustrate the point, and it will fill it in with that pattern. And if we resize it, it will stay filled with that pattern. With styles, you can go to this little 3-line down to the style library and you can see a bunch of preloaded styles, or you can always download and add your own styles from various online sources. Adobe has some. If you Google it, you can find a bunch of styles. For instance, if you click on 3D effects, you will see a bunch of options pop up. These can be helpful when creating logos, infographics, and so on. Let's go ahead and close that. I'm going to get rid of this square, and we'll go back over to our Shapes menu and check out our Polygon tool. If you just click on here, you can specify the number of sides. We could say 6. Click OK, you get a hexagon. If you just want to drag, you can see that you can freeform draw it. If you want it to be straight on the 90 degrees, just hold down Shift and it will stay on that 90 degrees. Another fun tidbit is while you are dragging this, if you want to press the up or down keys, you can see that you can change the number of sides that way. Obviously the lowest is a triangle. And you can apply those styles and colors and whatnot to any shape that you draw. You can see that even with a style on, you can still see your paths and anchor points and can adjust them accordingly. Let's go back to our Shapes tool and go down. We see a star tool. It's just what it sounds like. It draws a star. It defaults to that 5-point star. If you hold down Shift, it keeps your star nice and level. And if you do exactly what you did with the Polygon tool and go up or down, you can add the number of points that your star has. And it goes down to a triangle. So that can also be super handy. We could add a style to that. Let's see. And then you can adjust your points and so on. One more quick tip is if you have a shape selected and you go under this transform window, it will pop up with a couple quick options that you can do. You can do some shearing or some rotating. You can adjust the size, you can flip it. The possibilities of what you can do and how you can manipulate these shapes are pretty endless. Your imagination is the only thing holding you back. Sky is the limit, especially using Illustrator because everything is vector, so everything is scalable.